we are nearing the weekend, and that means you should be checking out everything that is offered at TomandDanWateringHoles.com.
Yep, it's all our brewery and bar partners, and they constantly have events going on, and we put them out on our social. But I know, Dirty Laundry right there between Little Indies and Will's Pub.
Yeah, it's only really open Thursday through Sunday, so if you're going to go there, check it out. It's the kind of the spillover area between Will's and the Little Indies bar, but it's really, really nice. It's got its own vibe. It's a punk rock tiki bar we think you'll dig.
Also, I'm looking through some events. Toughies, they got Riff Raff coming October 6th.
That's awesome.
On September 30th, they got a Taylor Swift inspired party. Johnny's, they got Oktoberfest October 8th at Hourglass Brewing.
We really are in like Oktoberfest style, season right now. So I'm sure a lot of our bar partners have different Oktoberfest style events going on.
October 3rd, they got Trivia Tuesday. What other? Salty Sisters.
Yeah, Salty Sisters, where our wives were just out there with the Side Chicks group. I mean, that's a great place to pop through there and just check out what they have going on. And I know for a fact that as of yesterday, Tiffany has reopened like her Philly cheesesteak Thursdays at Salty Sisters. She welcomes all Eagles fans back to her bar to make it like sort of an Eagles Nest vibe. I think that's pretty cool.
You were just at Cafe Da Vinci this past weekend, right?
Yeah, there's always a great show at Cafe Da Vinci, and where Cafe Da Vinci really excels, and it's head and shoulders above almost any venue you could go to, is they have great live sound, and the bands that they have play there are really, really good. I sat outside with a cold Coors Light and watched this amazing band called like the Swamp Puppies, and they were phenomenal.
Yep, Toll Road in Ocoee. They make great beers if you're around the Ocoee area.
Yep.
Alestone in Longwood, they got 50% off their pizzas Monday through Thursday, as always.
Yeah, West End Trading Company and Celery City Craft in the historic L in Sanford, Florida. Either of those bars are great for whatever you want. Weston's more of a venue, and Celery City is more of a kind of tuck in and have a craft beer.
Easiest thing to do is to go to TomandDanWateringHoles.com and see all our great watering holes and ask for a Tom and Dan giveaway. They all have them, and it helps us as well. Thank you very much, and enjoy your watering holes. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Kosha and Amy Kimlott are on the couch with us. How you guys doing?
We're doing
great. Waking them up there.
I apologize. Now, I'll tell everybody what happened. So,
what did you do? Did you already mess something up?
No.
They look very happy to be here. They always look great. Well, they're probably the most professional couple that we ever have in, without a doubt. I mean, you guys are like power couple, magic power couple, I feel like.
And we're going to talk about Amy's book. Yep. Of course, last time she was here, we talked about Hocus Pocus, Practice Focus, which you brought in some
I think
some
that was
copies
via
for
Zoom, right? Wasn't
yes,
that?
we did.
Yeah, which was difficult.
So it's out right now, and Kosha's Christener's dinner shows are back at MagicShowOrlando.com. I want to, because that was one of the best experiences I've had in a long time.
Yeah. It's I'll tell you straight up, my best steakhouse experience was that.
Yeah.
And I go to a lot of steakhouses, and I have opinions that some people around here don't like. There's one down the road that everybody likes, but that one with the magic was the greatest steakhouse meal I've ever had. It was so good, man.
I love hearing that.
So good.
They're amazing.
So book it, because it will sell out, and you're missing out if you haven't seen this.
It's something you can do as a gift for somebody that...
Oh, a date night?
Yeah.
It's better.
You
best
will
date
win.
night.
You'll never lose with that.
But the reason Kosha's here, and Amy...
the reason
why?
The reason you're wasting their time. You're wasting their time.
So
it's always for Tom's personal benefit.
I thought that's what this whole show was about.
It is.
The king sits on the mountain and he's like, "Bring me my magician to explain."
I have questions.
Okay. So I was watching Hard Knocks this year, of course, with Aaron Rodgers, and as everybody knows now, he is not playing the season anymore because he got injured.
Yeah, my starting quarterback.
Who predicted that one?
No,
nobody. Well, one guy on Twitter actually. that is the thing.
And you know what?
One guy on Twitter.
I would have said. Now this is true, and this has nothing to do with America. This is just me and just doing things that don't settle right with me. The fireworks is great. The hard knocks is great. But the minute you start running out of the tube with a big, giant American flag, you're really pouring it on thick. Something's going to happen, right? I just felt like, man, pull it back a little bit. Pull back a little bit. Wait to see how you're going to do.
Now, I know this happened a long time ago, as we're airing now. I mean, this was the second episode of Hard Knocks, but they brought in a mentalist, Oz Perlman, correct?
What's his name?
Oz. It looks like
name.
Oz, but it's
That's
Oz.
a good name for a mentalist. You know, I like the fit and the finish of the presentation. That's a good name.
Yeah, and so they bring him in to the Jets meeting room, and he does some tricks for the entire team. And this, you can see the clips online if you haven't seen Hard Knocks, and they're super impressive tricks, right? To the point where I became obsessed with figuring them out because I was like, how? I was like, wait a minute. How did he do this? I'm like,
it's the same thing you do every time you see Coach Shaq.
Every time, this is. I've been curious how your passion has continued. Like, you know,
no.
This guy couldn't even eat a steak. He was just sitting there, like fears were bothering him, was making him angry.
I've become obsessed with it to where I can't sleep at night because I'm running through my head, and until I figure out, or I think I figure out how they did it, it bothers me to no end. Right?
Okay.
So it took me a couple weeks, but I figured it all out except for one. Which this is why.
So that's why you.
Okay, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I know, Coach. Listen, I don't expect Coach
talking about magic. What are you doing?
No, I know. I don't expect Coach to reveal any secrets of the trade. Okay, perfect, Amy. I know you know because you see him do it.
I never took the oath.
Exactly. You're not even supposed to talk about the oath.
So Amy, so you can tell me.
And
if
then
I'm
that guy on the
Coach
TV with the mask, and he's revealing all the secrets.
It was her own.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
hated him. I mean, you look a lot more svelte in person. That guy was big. He was a big
People
man.
did hate that guy.
He had death threats.
I know.
Now, before I start revealing everything, I want to ask Kosha one question. What's the difference between a mentalist and a magician?
Yeah, mentalism is a type of magic.
Okay.
So in performance, like, people tend to associate mentalism to more real-like powers because you don't have props in your hands. You're not doing quote-unquote tricks. But the beauty of mentalism is it's another form of magic. It just seems much more believable to people, especially these days, because I think it hints at powers that we're close to having, of being able to read thoughts, of being able to move objects without touching them. Like, science is moving that way. And so part of, I think, fascination with mentalism is magic is always one step ahead of science. Magic makes it look like something, and then science catches up to it soon. And I think the recent obsession with mentalism is because mentalists do things that we're all obsessed about doing and having. And with science, we're slowly moving. Like, I don't know how many more years we've got to perform mentalism before people are like, oh, yeah, that's what everyone does. Everyone levitates now.
Right.
Everyone can move objects without touching them.
Or guess what you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. We've got neural implants now. I can see what you're thinking.
It's even in the video
floating.
games. I'm playing Starfield right now, and in that video game, you get neuroplants that help you in business, right? Like, help you navigate business. So you can use your neuroplants to, maybe if you and I are making a business deal, I'm able to manipulate you in a certain way. But you can also see that I have the implants. So you're able to kind of, you're going against that would mean you're able to see my neuroplants because they've outlawed them being internal, because that would be cheating, because effectively that would be creating real magic.
So mentalism is the illusion of being able to do these things, to influence people, to read minds, to read body language. It's all beautiful. It's a beautiful art form. And Oz is a friend of mine. So we jam on tricks. I've known him for a long time.
All right, this is perfect.
And he's throwing the lingo down, jam on tricks.
So
that sounds cool.
And I broke down why I'm so fascinated with this, because at the root, and Kosha, you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Slow people have always been fascinated with magic.
Or you're like, get him, he's a wizard.
Exactly.
So when you break it all down, it's math and science and psychology, right? At the base of mentalism, right? So it was some of it.
Some of it, yeah, sure is math. But good mentalism, like the kind that Oz performs, there's only a handful of people around the world that perform at that level professionally.
Wow.
That can stand up on stage and command a theater of people and perform this and fool everyone into it. It's a combination of great methods. It's never just one thing where you flip a switch and, the trick works. It's preparation and
Yes,
layering.
And that's what I also wanted to say is like, yes, you can break down and find out how some of these tricks are done. Well, with the aid of the internet now, which
Amy,
ruins everything, by the way.
About his tricks? Does he come in and show them to you, or do you get sick of that? Like, because I'm sitting here thinking he's talking about like the process and jamming on tricks with his bros, like magic bros, and. I'm guessing they do that. But like, do you ever? You
can tell them the truth. Tell them exactly what it is.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, do you like? You're like, oh God, he's didn't make it.
We were talking about this morning. We said, what if they ask this question?
Really?
Wizard.
He knew I was going to ask it.
I knew you were going to.
She predicted it.
Yeah.
My background's in marketing, and so I have a history of preferring people bring me like final drafts. Like give to me like the finished product.
Yeah.
Because before then it's whatever. So sometimes he'll show me things that are not quite done yet.
Okay.
It's much better when it's done.
Yeah.
So that's when I go to my bros and I'm like, all right, let's talk for 3 hours about this insignificant little minor
and it's
detail.
nuances, right? It's like, no, do this millimeter, do this.
And then replaying it, doing it again and again. And
yeah.
okay, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? And then finally, when I bring her a half-baked idea, she's like, either just looks bored or like, what is this? So I have to bring her something when it's good, and then she's
that's
able
good
to
for your craft.
Say, yeah, it's good. She doesn't put up with like,
Yeah, I like
bring
that.
me something good, then I'll make it better. But don't bring me something that's not done
the
yet.
best partners are the ones that elevate you, right?
Yes.
I feel that way with my wife. Yeah, I mean,
I think we do that for each other.
done.
We're very lucky that way.
Coach,
I love that.
I just thought of this. Will it be offensive to you if I actually tell the listeners how O's did some of these tricks?
I hope you tell us and you're wrong.
Well, he's done that a lot. Christian knows that.
Christian doesn't have to say
We've got
whether
a
I
lot
got
of
it
this
right.
right.
Okay.
I think
The internet knows.
I don't know. For instance, I mean, we've
Did you look it up?
Yeah, well, I
I thought you tried to figure it out on your own.
That's
this
what
makes sense. Okay.
I mean, I tried, but I can't figure out anything on
I
my
thought you were
own.
going to give
Alright,
your
fair enough.
theories. I didn't think you were
That's
going to
what
go
I
to the
thought.
internet and look it all up.
No, the internet is an extension of my brain now. It's like I'm a
That is not
cyborg.
true.
Everybody's a cyborg. And, like the internet
you
gives
could
you
have-
unlimited
You could
information.
have resisted the urge to type in how it was done.
Well, it's not. The internet couldn't tell me specifically how these tricks are done, but I deep dove into mentalist tricks, and through reading, I'm not joking. I read a lot
I
about.
saw you in there.
He
He had on his reading pants too. He has a specific pair of pants
So-
that he has to put on when he reads.
Let's start with this. And this is a clip on social media.
I'll just say this before you dive into the details. I'll just say this to
Yes,
you know.
this is where he tricks you. This is the next thing you know, you're
Get 'em.
standing there, you're hypnotized, you're clucking like a chicken.
The secret to a magic trick seems like the most interesting thing until you learn it.
Yes.
Once you learn it, you realize that the actual secret, the mechanics of it, is less than 10% of why the trick works and why people are fooled. So reducing it to a simple method and saying how this is done, I think robs people of the rich understanding of what it takes to actually
thinks you're a bad person.
learn.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Hold on. I love robbing people of their
joy.
The wonder and joy.
joy,
in their life.
yeah.
You forgot what you were robbing.
But some people,
I love robbing joy.
some people, like yourself, enjoy the methodology. They live on the fact that this is how it's done, and that's a focus of it. So I understand that typically when I'm presenting in front of an audience, there's 30% that's very analytical. There's 30% just loves it, and everyone else is kind of in the middle.
Right.
And I've got to appease all of them. I'm trying to create wonder and joy and delight, while acknowledging the fact that you're there in the audience too, being like, how is this done?
Because I will say this. Once I kind of figured, and who knows, I'm probably wrong, but but once I
All this to be wrong.
once I kind
That
of
should be the
figured
name
out,
of the show. All this to be wrong.
it made me appreciate more of what Oz was doing because when I first watched it, I thought he did it a different way, an easier way than what actually, apparently, from what I read, happened.
Okay. Do you want to take
So
the one in
then
question?
let me give you the exact opposite warning of that, because I have the same exact thing where people give me credit for powers I don't have. Because what mentalism does is creates the superhuman ability that you can do things like a super memory or super perception or reading body language. I think that's a real danger in thinking that those principles are real and that they can be used to advance your life or to, help you negotiate with people. They're tricks, and they really are simple tricks, well layered. So there's a danger in thinking that they're real and there's witchcraft, or they're real and I can do this to manipulate others. No, neither one is true. These are tricks, and we don't have the information. When you watch magic, that's why they work. Is you're not seeing something, you're not hearing something, you don't have the full information.
Okay, so
Okay, I like that. I
Here
like
we
that.
go.
if you look up to Aaron Rodgers, like when Oz goes to Aaron Rodgers
His
and
career
does
disappeared.
his final
I know.
trick,
Made his calf explode.
it seems insane how he does it. So basically, he gives Aaron Rodgers a deck of cards. He said, like, look through the cards, pick out any card you want by looking through it, right? So Aaron Rodgers picks a card, right, whatever, memorizes it out of the deck. He's like, all right, now hold the deck in your hands. Like, Oz didn't touch it. Then he's like, all right, then he does this, which is misdirection, where he's like, red, black. Then he's like, diamonds, hearts, clubs, spades. He's like, all right, is your card a diamond? And then Aaron Rodgers is like, yes. And he's like, 3 of diamonds. And then
Aaron Rodgers' legs exploded.
Aaron Rodgers, he's like, that's what it was, So then I was like, so the misdirection was that he looks at him and he's like, red, black, hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, and then like he's acting like he's implanting things. So how I looked it up, and there's this thing in mentalism called the 3 of diamonds trick, and apparently if you make the diamond sign with your hand while you're talking to someone and say things in spurts of 3, like
then you can almost will the person to pick one. Okay,
and then apparently 3 of diamonds is some sort of card that automatically like gets.
What if I pulled my shirt up right now and written on my chest it said 3 of diamonds? Whatever, like that would be.
And
I
so,
should have got. I
don't
was
need
such a bad
Kosha.
at radio. I should have already talked to Kosha off air and already made this happen. I should have done some sort of hoodwink thing where I turn around, I take my shoe off, I hold it up, and written inside my shoe it says 3 of diamonds.
I don't even want Kosha to tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is what I want to know.
Oh my God! Now you really wasted his time. We didn't even need him here.
Because I don't want to expose the tricks of the mentalist.
Yeah, no, I got you.
It took me 10 or 15 minutes to find this on the internet. But what I do want to know is, as Kosha, you do this as well. What's the backup plan? So, like, I
bet he has more than one.
Apparently, if you watch this trick, it has to be the 3 of diamonds because the cards turn into a goldfish. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a lot more. There's a lot more too.
And so there's not many outs that I'm spotting that and because of this mentalist trick, I looked up and it had 3 of diamonds. The whole thing revolves around it being a 3 of diamonds. But there is a certain probability that Aaron Rodgers looks at, because the cards he's looking through, it's not all 3 of diamonds. Like there's other ones that he can pick. How does that? What's the out? Is he screwed if there's not the 3 of diamonds?
He's got options, huh? So
there is options. There is other ways out.
I can tell you that if he and I listened to what you just described, right?
That was a mess, by the way. Oh
my God!
I love you, man, but whatever you were saying, my wife is in there. My wife's like, my brain hurts.
You make the diamond sign with your hands and you staccato through what you're talking to him. You do in the short bursts.
You found an inkling of a method popularized by Darren Brown, who's an incredible British magician.
I watched him do it,
and he's got brilliant techniques, and certainly
this is embarrassing.
There's this great myth, right, that I can look at you and I can do this for you and I can implant thoughts simply by gestures. Isn't that a beautiful thought? The fact that I can say, "Don't you feel happy today?" Right, and suddenly, is there a mythology to that?
I feel happy.
Certainly, right? Maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
But doesn't the method even sound better than probably the reality?
It does. It does sound.
All I want to say is that if Oz and I were to listen back to your description, we would be laughing and loving it, because it's proof that when people talk about magic tricks afterwards, they implant their own way, like they stop their brain from figuring things out because they make up things that didn't happen or did happen as
That's
realities.
What you do for everything.
You have no chance.
That's Tom's argument method.
You have no chance of figuring it out.
Okay,
I promise you.
If that worked, we would only eat at the restaurants Kosha wanted to eat at. We would only go to the places he wanted to.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that.
So there
has he. Have you? Do you have to be weary of that? Like, have you ever thought do you have to swear to you on marriage that I will never use my powers of influence?
My fake mentalism.
I've never thought about that. Like, you just saying that makes me think about like how.
Right.
I mean, not that it's not. I mean, Kosha's a wonderful person. He wouldn't do that.
But I'm sure some people. do,
I'm
right?
sure there are tons of people that, like, just like you were saying, it is a dangerous thing. Somewhere in America, there is a magic couple like you guys, but it's the evil version, and the guy is not a good guy, right? And he thinks that he can weaponize his influence techniques to manipulate his partner, right?
By now, she'll has learned everything and turned it on her and on me.
Yeah, you
I was
probably
going to say, luckily his powers are contagious.
Yeah, I was going to say naturally, and even with the book, it feels like the magic is, infectious. It's getting on the family,
Exactly.
which is good.
Next trick I figured out. So there's a puzzle trick in this where basically he takes Mecole Hardman, former wide receiver from Kansas City Chiefs, now plays for the Jets. He brings him out, and then I studied this trick because essentially he asks him to narrow down puzzle pieces. Like he dumps out a bunch of puzzle pieces on the table, and then and this is how I believe he does this part of it. He asks him pick a side, left or right, and he knows where the puzzle piece is. So when he picks a right side, it's either discard that side or keep the side.
Right.
And then through 50-50, where it seems like he's making his own decisions, he basically gets down to two puzzle pieces, and he knows which one's the right one. Then he's like, all right, close one hand. And whatever hand he closes, he either says, now throw that piece away or keep the piece that your hand's closed, basically tricking the person thinking that he's making the decision, but Oz is really manipulating it the whole way because he knows and then he puts the puzzle piece on the Jets. It was the last piece that fit, and then so this is the trick I can't figure out.
Well, hold on a second. So, linguistic deception, right? That's a great method.
Yeah.
But you're running through this, and I think Oz would be upset because he'd say, "No, I worked way harder than that." And if you were to replay that trick, you would, because a lot of people say that to me. I do a trick, right? I do this trick that's like layered in methods. It's got physical, psychological methods. I got multiple outs. Everything is set to go. And at the end, person goes, "Oh yeah, you just made me verbally do that." And I'm like, no, that's silly.
Offensive, Tom. I just offended. That's the easiest. Come on, it's never coming back.
you
minimized
10,000 hours of practice and minimizing it to nothing.
Yeah, because if you were to watch that clip again, you'd realize that he cancels out that method because he knows that other magicians, his friends, right? We're going to watch it.
Yeah,
he wants to
the
fool us
most
too.
critical are going to be you
And
guys.
he thinks deeply about methods, so he's not going to do. I mean, linguistic deception is great, right? You do it to your children, right? Do you want to brush your teeth before or after you shower? Right? You're presenting false options
You
for
just
them.
got me. I want to brush my
The
teeth.
power of words is incredible. So I know you said that that's a possible method, and when someone shows me a trick that's a simple trick, it will use that, right? That multiple outs, depending upon what they say, they'll do something different. It's a simple beginner method, but it's also one of the most advanced methods possible in magic. It takes years to master it. But don't think that someone who's going to go on HBO to do tricks for a professional football team is going to use that simple of a method. Because you're going to see that on TV and figure that out. So watch it again, you'll be fooled.
You're saying you're falling right into the dum-dum trap.
I did the same trick.
I'm close.
Here we go.
Pause. That's
gotta be because there's a reality that
It doesn't gotta be. He literally just said it doesn't gotta be.
Because when you take out supernatural ability, then it's gotta be reality in some way.
It's good magic.
Yeah,
I mean, I did the same exact trick 10 years ago for a local art gallery for an opening, and they had a feature piece, and I did the puzzle trick. It's a couple decades old, probably. The idea has been passed around in magic. Oz used a completely different method than I did. Fooled me when I first watched it, and I'm sure if you watched my version, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't see the difference. That's a beautiful thing. Lay people, the audience, is not supposed to know methods exist. They're just supposed to see the effect, which is that you picked one puzzle piece out of 1,000, and it matched the missing piece on this artwork.
Yep.
That's a beautiful effect.
And
there's lots of ways to do it.
So there are multiple ways to do it, and even when I don't know if you watched. Did you watch this episode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you know how he did it? All of them.
If I just know how hard he works on his methods and on fooling people, and when you're going on national television, the requirement it takes, that I can appreciate what he did, what he's done, and I just know him as a friend.
Yeah.
And so that's why I can safely tell you he's an incredible magician. And the label mentalism is so much more interesting to people because it seems real. You can say, oh, it's not card tricks, it's mentalism. But in reality, just for the sake of humanity, I have to make it clear that there is no superpowers.
Yeah.
You're being deceived by an artist really well.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
on Zoom with us. I'm excited to talk to this gentleman because he's played with some of the most famous musicians in the world.
The list is, we've talked to a lot of musicians on this show, and I agree with you. This guy has hit more of the bullseye of the people that, like, legendary people that he's played with. He also, if he wanted to, I think could carry his instrument in his pocket if need be, which will throw you off a little bit. On the line with us right now is Mickey Raphael. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I don't even know where to start because when Bill set this up for us to get the interview with you, we all sort of freaked out at your resume, man. Is it, Tom, you got a starting point?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, we were just going over all the interesting places you've played, Ray Charles' funeral, the White House, SNL, a million different shows. Do you have
rocked them all?
Do you have one that stands out in your head as your favorite?
I do, and I was just doing a little research on it today. It was a place called the Sportatorium.
I was reading about that, and they really? Oversold it. You said.
Well, it was a wrestling arena,
right,
in Dallas, and this particular show. I mean, we played there probably once or twice a year. And the place was so packed, the promoter had sold so many tickets that when we got to the venue, only the band was allowed in the building. I think I had my girlfriend with me. The fire marshal wouldn't let her in. So we rushed to the stage and we're playing. And it was just one of those really smoky, just nasty places.
Yeah.
And later on the news, I saw the promoter, Gino McCausland, who was a really character in himself. And they were interviewing him why he, why the place is so packed. What he would do was put the men's and ladies' room signs over the exits. So when you went through that doorway, you ended up in the alley, and they wouldn't let you back in.
Oh, that's a good scam.
That's a good one. So needless to say, it worked great for the promoter. But when the Dallas Morning News was interviewing him, they said, "What'd you do? Why? What happened here?" And he goes, "Well, I was figuring on a 20% no-show factor. The airlines do it all the time."
Yeah. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Yeah,
but that 20% is a lot for a show.
Oh man, and it was just one of these shows where by the time you got to the stage, you were soaking wet, and it looked like a prize fight. Which
Absolutely.
It was, getting in and out of the place.
Is it how much of a badge of honor is it when you are listed and known as Willie Nelson's harmonica player? Because to me, that sounds so truly unique, and they're also pairing you with one of the most legendary musicians of all time. Does that ever get old at all?
Well, no, and I don't ever take it for granted.
Sure.
And somebody says, "How you doing?" I say, "I'm blessed and highly favored." I know I'm lucky, because I've made a living playing a harmonica, and Willie, took a chance on me because most bands, the majority, 99.9% of bands don't have just a harmonica player.
Sure. Right.
Everybody can play a little harmonica, but to focus on that instrument as a lead, as a soloist. He just took a chance, and I was 21 years old when I started to, when I went to work for him. So he got the best years of my life.
Mickey, I was going to ask you that. How did you end up hooking up with Willie Nelson? Was it like an audition? How'd that happen?
No, it was with Willie. It's being at the right place at the right time. And I'd gotten a call from Darryl Royal, who was the coach of the University of Texas football team.
Okay.
And the stadium in Austin is named after him.
Yeah.
And he was a real patron of the arts and a big music fan and a close friend of Willie's. So he got word to me that they were having a little picking party after the ball game, which I think I was in Dallas. So UT was playing Arkansas.
Okay.
So after the game, I went over to his hotel room, and there was about 30, 40 people in the room, and Willie and Charlie Pride and a bunch of other guitar players were passing the guitar around. So I kind of knew Charlie because my dad was a interior designer and he had done some work for Charlie, and I'd been over to his house when I was 15 or 16, and I to this day I've got an autographed picture of him somewhere.
Wow, man! I mean,
imagine walking in that room. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that is so crazy. And so you had already been a harmonica player.
Kind of. I mean, I was, barely out of school,
Sure.
but I was playing with. I was kind of involved in the folk scene in Dallas, and I was playing with a guy named B.W. Stevenson, and we were on RCA. And I remember going through the vault one day, picking out records, and there was this Willie Nelson record, and I'd never heard of Willie before, but the album cover was a picture of Willie and his family and friends around a bonfire, and I thought, this is really a unique, picture. I'm going to get this record. And so I listened to Willie, and it kind of piqued my interest, but I was not into country music.
Okay.
And then meeting him in the coach's suite and hearing, when they pass him a guitar and he plays Nightlife or Crazy. And I'm thinking, oh, is that the guy? Because I knew those songs from Nightlife from Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin. So, it kind of piqued my interest. And then Willie said after this little party, hey, if you ever hear we're playing anywhere, come find me and sit in.
It's crazy.
That sounds very casual.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
To this day, I tell people, I haven't really been official. I've been with them 50 years this year.
Congratulations.
And I haven't been officially hired, but I've never been asked to leave.
50 years?
That's insane.
Yeah.
So, Mickey,
you look great, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I mean, we were all talking about that, and it makes us that are younger than you, though. When you look better than us, it does make us feel bad. We're like, uh-oh.
It's the cycling, huh, Mickey? Right?
You gotta get on the bikes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's the bike.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Lance Armstrong's a friend of ours, and when Willie was asked
Sent him a
about
kit.
Lance's alleged drug use and all this stuff, and Willie goes, what, he won the Tour de France 13 times on drugs. He goes, I can't even find my bike on drugs.
So, Mickey, speaking of working with Willie Nelson for 50 years, I mean, we went back and read some of the stories and about the tour buses and the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Hell's Angel stories.
A lot of Hell's Angels. Also, as a musician myself, it's hard to research you because I get lost in every song you've played on. I'll just sit there and zone out and start listening to it. You're a very hard person to research considering you've hit everybody, man.
So what are some of the things that stand out in the 50 years of touring with Willie?
Well, the Hells Angels is an interesting story because I was on Willie's bus. We're playing a festival in Northern California, and we hear this, this roar. This it sounds like a jet engine outside the bus, and I look outside, and it's about 10 motorcycles, and the Hells Angels are just pulling up to the bus. So there's a knock on the door. I go to the door, and it's this guy named Deacon Proudfoot, who is the president of the Oakland chapter. And he says, hey, we want to meet Willie. And so Willie comes out, and he's talking to him, and he meets all the guys, and they were all very nice and cordial. And, we chatted for a bit, and then Willie goes, well, sorry, guys, I got to go to the gig. And they stop for a minute, and they go, we'll take you. So
Right.
Willie and I got on the back of their bikes. And Willie got on one bike, I got on another, and these guys don't pack guys on their bikes too often.
Right. Yeah,
You hold their
You're also not going to say no to the Hells Angels.
That's a very special thing to ride butt to nut with the Hells Angels.
Do you do a shoulder hold or
Around the waist.
Around the waist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I was Deacon's bit for the afternoon. Actually, he was so big that he kind of pinned me in. I could have lit a cigarette because he blocked the wind from me. I didn't spend a lot of time on motorcycles. I don't have a lot of experience there. But going down the road, 80 miles an hour down the highway, with 10 bikes, I never felt safer. I figure, this is going to be the safest experience I
very
ever had.
fast, very safe. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be very fine.
Like no one will ever mess with you. Like you have the ultimate protection. I feel like you'd be safer with the Hells Angels than the police.
Yes,
and very fast. And very fast.
Every car that drove by, I'd be flipping them off.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a rudimentary, simple question, but do you have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of harmonicas? Like, do you have one harmonica that's worth $1 million? Like, or does it not require, that many? Like, do you have a special one that you really like?
Well, they wear out. They're little brass reeds that after you play them long enough, they go out of tune, and you really can't get attached to the harmonica. That's one thing. It's like not having your favorite guitar. So I have a lot of them, and I have redundant systems. I have multiples out with Willie, and here at home I keep a case of them in my car. Because every once in a while I'll get a call. The other day, Kenny Chesney called and says, "Hey, can you play on a record for me?" It's like, "Sure." I said, "When do you need me?" He goes, "How far are you away?" So
wow, man.
They needed me right then. Luckily, I've got a whole set there. But let me tell you about this Hell's Angel thing. So we roll up to the backstage gate, and the cop there, or the guard, security guy, stops us. Says, "You can't go in here." And the first bike pulls up with Willie on him, and the guy goes, "Well, this is Willie Nelson. He's playing here." And the cop goes, "Yeah, sure it is." And Willie had to pull out his American Express card.
And you're on. You're with the Hells Angels, a part of that.
The cop couldn't tell it was Willie Nelson. I mean, it's like he
does have a
pretty
unique
iconic
look. Yeah, I mean, he looks like Willie Nelson. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, at that time, everybody on their bikes looked like Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Also, the cop would be like, "Why would Willie Nelson show up with the Hells Angels?
Why isn't he on the tour bus?"
Yeah, my answer to that would be, why wouldn't he? He's Willie Nelson. Right? Yeah.
Right. It was very humbling for the cop.
That's awesome, man.
Mickey, we were going through your Instagram, and you put up a picture of you, Willie Nelson, and Jimmy Buffett playing on stage, and it was after Jimmy Buffett passed. And that picture, it was like a black and white picture, and it was just like, wow, you're playing harmonica with two legends, and I mean,
he's played with all legends.
I know, but
new legends too.
Yeah.
Like, you're on stage with Chris Stapleton now. Is that
I'll be back in November with him.
Yeah. Is Chris Stapleton and Willie, are those your two main gigs, for lack of a better way to say it?
Yeah, because Willie works a lot. So every weekend, Chris just works weekends. So every weekend that I'm not playing with Willie, I go out with Chris because he's so much fun, and I played on the records. And actually, we're going to be in Tampa with Chris. I think November 11th. Is something going on with Imagine Dragons?
Yeah, you're going to be, it's Saturday, November 11th at the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater right there in Tampa, Florida. You can go and see Mickey and Chris and who else is,
Imagine Dragons, I think.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, and just to get the other plugs out, October 6th, you'll be with Willie Nelson, the Avett Brothers, West Palm.
That's a huge show.
Your wife's going to be there.
October 7th in Tampa. We're going to be we're going to be in Tampa.
You're going to go to the Avett Brothers?
Yeah, and see Willie Nelson and Mickey, and it's it's going to be an awesome show.
Have you ever seen Willie?
I know.
Great show.
Never,
Great show.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, that's great.
You'll dig it.
And so, Mickey, there's a million questions, and you've played with so many different famous people. Me and Daniel were talking how unique it is to be a musician that can carry their instrument in their pocket.
Right.
And just
super convenient.
And he's like, "Oh, you need me? All right, here I am. I can play at any time."
And I also have this vision of you sitting in front of your computer, maybe you do this or maybe you don't. You can tell me how far off I am. But can you just plug maybe a high-end mic to a computer and lay down a track for people and just email it to people? Do you do any of that remote recording, or is that something?
I have a studio set up in my house. I have a room over the garage. That's my studio, and it's got the same gear that a regular professional studio would have, but for recording one instrument. So I can record or one or two tracks. So I've got a really nice microphone and with the computer. So I just did. I've done some Willie records remote. I just did War and Treaty Just played on with
so
them.
good. They are, oh man, so good. Like,
yeah, they're wonderful. But I also can take it on the road. I've got a setup to where I could do it, backstage in a dressing room.
And Sam also told us that and help me a little bit on this, Sam.
Yeah.
Like you were pretty instrumental in like going to is it Hohner?
Hohner, I believe.
The
is the
Hohner
name.
company, and kind of like helping them.
They kind of started cheaping out on the manufacturing of the harmonicas, and you guys started complaining about it, right?
Yeah, I mean it's they're kind of mass produced. I mean, right now I use Hohner parts, but I have them custom made.
Yeah.
So they just take a little more time, but they make a good product now, and just anything over the counter I can still play from them. But just because I do want to get maybe attached to a special harmonica, so I'll have have them custom made with Hohner parts, and if a note goes flat, I can have it retuned or replaced. Now,
how long does a typical harmonica? How long does a typical harmonica last for you? If you go out and you play one night, with Chris Stapleton, and you're doing
do you like throw it in the audience like a guitar pick?
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah.
Well, I haven't yet. I think John Popper does that.
Does he?
Case
Okay.
Yeah, but mine are a little more. Mine are, like I say, they're custom, and I really don't. But I do have some harmonicas that a box that I've given away. They're not necessarily the ones I play, all the time. But if I meet some kids or something that are interested, I'll give them a harmonica.
Are there digital harmonicas? Because the kids, they love it. Anything that's on the iPad. Is there something that's trying to take your job? Like right now?
Well, there is a digital harmonica. It's a MIDI controller.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's a chromatic. I mean, it's in a body. It looks like a chromatic harmonica, which are the big harmonicas with the buttons on the end of it.
Yeah.
And look at MIDI. There's a guy. There are people that do play them, and if you're using your sounds, your MIDI sounds, it'll sound like a trumpet or a saxophone, and it's pretty amazing, But I still, I've got one. I don't really play it, and I kind of just like old school, But it's pretty amazing what can be done on those.
Right.
Mickey, I'm curious because I feel like a lot of people, everybody knows the harmonica sound and what it is, and have seen people play harmonica. But I don't think, and I'm even asking myself, like, what makes a good harmonica player? And if, like, in your opinion, why do you think you're such a good harmonica player?
Oh, I can answer that with one word. Well, with one sentence. Knowing when not to play.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because a lot of harmonica, and having great tone, which I have great tone. I'm not a fast player by any means, but I know when to shut up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that writes about you says that. No, everybody that writes about you says that. Every article that I've read this morning about you, people say that you know when to play, when not to play, and they say that you have a musicality that makes the harmonica feel less like a harmonica and more like a human voice. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because that's what I think about. I listen to the lyric, and I kind of want to emulate, another voice. And if somebody's singing or talking, you wouldn't sing or you wouldn't talk
Correct,
when they're talking, even though I just did that with you. Knowing when not to play is so important. I'd rather somebody say, "Gee, I wish he played more," than, "Man, I've had enough."
Yeah, it's kind of like that for drummers too, because that's what I went to school for. And they say a lot of the best drummers are the ones that know how to keep time and know how to keep their fills just tasty and musical, and not overplaying it all.
Yeah, a really incredible jazz musician. I'll name drop. I spent a little time with Miles Davis.
Yes.
And he said what's important is the space between the notes.
Yep.
And that's kind of Willie's mantra, too, is less is more, so...
Mickey, last couple questions. I know you got to go, but it's been throughout my years in doing radio and media. Every couple years, there would always be a story about Willie Nelson's bus getting pulled over. it was almost like a joke story that would just circulate all of news.
They're almost like it almost seems like an old tall tale at this point. We don't even know if half of them are true. It's just like,
and then the joke was like, "Oh yeah, of course it did," because it's Willie Nelson's bus. But I'm sure that perpetuated itself into cops probably looking for Willie Nelson's bus, or like, did you ever have a problem just touring and then the bus getting pulled over all the time?
Well, when that was happening, I mean, in later years, we had multiple buses, so I didn't ride his bus. But yes, all the stories are true, but it doesn't take great police work to bust Willie Nelson. So it's kind of like it's like whack-a-mole, but you're hitting the mole every time. So,
Pretty.
I think the authorities have moved on to bigger fish.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
I'm just thinking
because it's like if they bust him and then they bust the bus, they go, "Oh, who have you got here? Oh, we got Willie Nelson." He goes, "Throw him back,"
Right, yeah. We know what we got, yeah.
Not to name drop one more time, but would you mind telling because I never knew this, but Samantha told me a story this morning about Vince Neil supposedly playing harmonica on Smoking in the Boys' Room?
Yeah, but it's actually you.
It's you, right?
Well, yeah, he was trying. They were cutting that record, and he was playing the solo. And I guess he did, because Tommy Lee was kind of, was a integral part, was co-producing too.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole band was producing, but Tommy wasn't happy or the producer wasn't happy with Vince's solo. So they called me. I had just played on Blue Oyster Cult's record.
Nice.
So they knew me from that. They called me to come in and play the solo. And Tommy kind of talked me through it. And, he's a great accordion player. I don't know if anybody knows that.
No.
I did not know that.
Tommy Lee is?
I think that's his first instrument. But,
What?
Very nice, but so I played the solo on that. And then Vince plays at the very end. There's a closing lick. That,
Yeah, just like
And then he put himself as the credit for the
Well, that's the
harmonica
rumor.
part?
The rumor is that he put himself
In the liner notes,
in the
yeah.
liner notes as the harmonica player, and that you got like a little yeah. Mickey was here too.
Yeah, I think my credit was additional harmonica.
Additional.
But I just recently got a platinum record from them.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey.
And-
That is awesome.
I'm very proud of, because that was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. I mean, and what a great story to have. At some point you get your platinum record, tie a little bow on it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, plus he got, I think it was Cream Magazine, which was around in those days. He got Heavy Metal Instrumentalist of the Year for that solo.
Wait, he got Heavy Metal Instrumentalist of the Year for your solo.
Correct.
Well, he did play on the record. I don't want to take that away.
I got you. I
a couple in and outs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right.
But maybe they liked the ending of that record.
That
right.
one note.
You're
yeah.
right. That's a positive way of spinning it. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So we've got a guest on the couch that we've known for a long time. I've known Will since before Sanford was cool, and before Sanford was Orlando's #1 hangout.
Yeah. What is it now? Like, it's got the best Orlando restaurants, best Orlando bars are in Sanford, and the best Orlando street parties are in Sanford.
So how you doing, Will?
Pretty good. Happy to be here.
So Will's here to talk about the historic downtown Sanford app that he's made, and I suggest everybody download it because I just did yesterday, and I was going through. It's a great app.
Thanks.
So let's start with that. Like, what made you decide to, because you've always had the historic downtown Sanford Facebook page, and with a bunch of followers, and that's grown over the years.
It's one of the only pages I actually follow.
Anything that's going on in Sanford,
I very much enjoy. I think before I even knew of you, or met you face to face, I think I was like, "Oh, you're the guy from the thing." I get it.
And so, what made you want to do the app?
Well, it's just an extension of our destination marketing that we do, right? So sometimes an app is easier to use, has all the information in there. And it was born right around the pandemic. I've been working on it for a couple of years.
Yep.
So
We know apps are hard to deal with. We just fixed ours.
Boy, do we.
Still working on it.
Now, it was really difficult to produce, with coders and getting it all just right.
Stupid nerds.
And I've been working for like a week on it every night and day to make sure that it would go live correctly, because I submitted it to the App Store and it got approved within 4 hours. I thought it was going to be 3 weeks.
I know, it used to be. It changed. Everything's changed.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Whoa, my God, Will! Back it down, my God!
Well,
He's got a gun!
He's excited.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
We can cut it out.
Yeah,
It's
no,
fine.
but you know what? I heard the passion in the statement. He's not wrong. You're not wrong. That's how we felt too.
But it used to be different. Like, and of course it used to be like technology was different 5 years ago than it is now.
We sat in meetings and we'd have guys say, your app cannot be fixed. It's impossible. Or $30,000. I'm like, $30,000.
Yeah. Or it'll be approved tomorrow. It was like, wow.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
So it got approved quickly.
Yes.
So I've been working really hard on it. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do it, especially now where there's a parking feature, which is pretty cool. So not only can you find out about all our cool restaurants, and we keep getting new ones opening up. We have new craft beer bars. We have new cocktail bars. But I have a cool feature where it lists all the parking lots and it'll take you there. So if you're promoting an event such as
the beer fest,
beer fest, and the example that I made is Pints and Paws, a lot of times people don't know exactly where to park. They'll go into the residential district and that's what they don't want.
Yeah.
And we have these huge lots by the marina, which as long as we push them there, we should be fine. So we promoted the app and said, hey, our event, we're assigned the cheetah parking lot, the black bear parking lot, and the giraffe parking lot. Then you pull up on the app, like boom, and then you click and it takes you there.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Nice. I like that.
And I like naming.
Every city should do this because a lot of people have parking anxiety.
Yes.
And this would save a lot of... Some people won't even go to a place if they don't know how the parking is.
You guys made fun of me because I go places before I go places.
Yeah, that's a little too far.
I do the thing.
That's totally insane. Never tell anybody that.
Totally insane.
But now with Google Earth, you can literally do that, right? With Google Earth, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Before I was going to Savannah, I'm like, let me check out this place out before I know where am I going to eat.
There. I like to drive by it. I like to see like the patterns. I wear a disguise.
I didn't realize parking anxiety was a thing until Daniel mentioned it, and then
well, we don't like to talk about it.
Make fun of my anxiety.
It's a bad word. That's the other thing why I delayed it. The word parking is a bad word now. People get worked up over the word parking.
Parking, not parking.
I always
Try that in a parking lot.
I've always looked at it like a gamble. Like I've never thought about parking.
Some of us don't like gambling.
Love gambling.
I drive
You
and then
love
when
gambling.
it's full, I'm like, oh, bust it out. And then I'm like, now I'm on an adventure.
I hate it.
I'm like, maybe I'm gonna get killed.
Dude, Andrea's just like you. Andrea will go, and then she'll go to the parking lots that are full and be like, there's got to be one. And go in there, and I'm like, stop. What are you doing? You're giving me anxiety. You're killing me.
I like to follow slowly behind someone for a long time, and then when they turn backward, I duck. Anyway, sorry, Will.
Wait, who's the crazy person?
No, hold on. This is our love language.
So,
just leave us be.
Let's talk about the animals.
His name is Will. It's Will.
You named all the parking lots after. Was there any, did you pick random animals, or did you pick any sort of specific animals like this one?
I tried picking the most popular. I did a little survey, and giraffe was number one. And the giraffe's
most popular? I hate giraffe.
Well, giraffe is a huge monster animal, right?
Yeah.
I chose that for our biggest slot. And I really want to promote the zoo, as a destination, historic downtown Sanford. You have a zoo that's 2 minutes away in a redeveloped Riverwalk. If you guys have been by the marina, that entire place they've spent over $30 million to remodel it and to revitalize it. It's gorgeous. And the zoo, it's like 2-3 minutes away. And so we should tie in as a destination, historic downtown Sanford, especially now you guys have an Airbnb, we now are getting people spending 2-3 days. Sometimes their families, they need more things to do. It's not just drinking, right, and eating all the time. What else can you do?
Yeah.
So, we wanted to promote the zoo, and I thought this would be a cool way to connect us with the zoo.
And I'm just telling everybody, download the app. It's free, and once you have it, it's a one-stop shop where if you need hey, what's events are going on in Sanford, and then once you have the events, you see the parking, and then it takes you to the best parking
restaurant, bars, where to stay,
and it needed that because with the parking in Sanford, I think there's so many people been going to Sanford so many years, and things have been built up. Like I remember when I used to me and Daniel's go-to parking was
don't tell it
the grass field. It's now condos, luxury condos or apartments.
I thought you were talking about my other one. I like to park next to Goodwill.
Yeah, we know that one.
But then Goodwill's like, quit parking. There's entire lots that no one knows about.
The way I see it, I'm like, okay, what's more important? Me getting on stage and hosting an event in Sanford, or somebody buying some bum's pants?
But there used to be a lot more grass fields that are not there anymore because everything's being built up. Will, how many restaurants in total? I know you probably don't know off the top of your head.
And all the different types of cuisine, different world flavors, you know?
I feel like there's got to be 24 or 36 restaurants now, and then
It's
bars. I mean, it's got to be, we're talking about 50 places to eat and drink in Sanford, right?
Exactly, more than 50. And so I've categorized them differently, right? I have restaurants and I have eateries, right? Because you have some amazing food at Henry's Depot, but it's really counter food, right? Like the current,
like
sweet
quick
and salty.
service, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I named them eateries so you kind of understand. And then I created a category gastropubs because the Sullivan, for example, is a great bar, but their food is amazing. They have a really good chef. And Buster's Bistro, they have really good
I love
food.
Buster's.
So I identify them as gastropubs where you know it's a bar, but you can expect really good food.
Yeah, it's custom food too.
Okay,
It's not like corporate. It's like
Yeah.
it's like even with the joint at West End and stuff. You've got Hollabox chefs making awesome food at the joint that's custom that people don't.
They don't think about it.
Yeah,
you pop in there for lunch and get custom Wagyu sliders.
Yeah.
Holy crap, made to order. You know?
And where do you see Sanford in the next 5 years, Will? Because just the growth in the past 5 years has been exponential, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping. And now with local government kind of more on board and working more together with everybody.
Or where would you like to see it go?
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good question. And I have a little story. I'm not from here, right? I moved here about 10 years ago. I discovered Sanford, fell in love with it, started promoting it. I have a marketing agency like almost 30 years now, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I do. And I'm for responsible growth. I say this because one time I went to, and I really shouldn't make any city look bad, but I went to this city, let's just say.
Yeah.
Right? And
Was it Plant City? that one's a bad one.
Yeah.
Was it Castleberry?
Plant City sounds awesome, but we're not good at all.
A lot of brown.
No, let's just say, I'm staying at a Hilton thinking it's this really nice Hilton, right? I'm going with my family, and it's a famous beach town, right?
Daytona.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Well, as soon as you said it was kind of crappy, we all
could
knew.
Smell Deltona from a mile away. No, I'm from the land area, so it's like.
I had no idea, right?
Daytona was
Beach,
where we hung out.
And it was like, wow, this is a famous beach. I'm staying at the Hilton. I'm going with my family. This is going to be an amazing weekend. And we walk out into the street, and we saw all kinds of stuff.
Oh, you can get it in Daytona.
And I was
per
like,
capita, I think it's like the most dangerous place on the planet.
is it really? And I did not know
Yeah,
that.
you can look it up.
Yeah. So I saw
not,
fights.
it's just
I
facts.
saw drug deals. I saw all kinds of stuff. And I said to myself, the Sanford thing had already started, and there was talk about this growth. And I was like, I never want to see that. I never want to see drunk people in the streets. It doesn't matter what we promote. We like the scene the way it is now. You see families, they hang out late at night. A lot of people bring their kids to the breweries. Like, that's a cool scene. As long as we keep growing in that way, I think it'd be cool. But can't control whatever.
I think what got Daytona is the
Snakes and parrots.
Well,
It was snakes and parrots.
It started off in popularity because of racing on the beach, and then it was like, hey, everybody, we can race on this beach.
And then the France family made it huge.
Yeah. And then that brought the initial trash push was the racing on the beach, and then
Anytime-
everything else was like, well, where do we go from racing on the beach? Well,
I think high-powered automobiles and just running it as fast as it can on sand breeds criminals.
Well, I was like, you're running over sea turtles?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how many sea turtles.
Look at how beautiful this beach is. We should drive cars on it.
You can't even walk on the dunes without everybody yelling at you when they're racing on the beach.
I love Daytona. It's fun. It's a fun place.
I know, but it's like then
The
it's
best
like,
people.
and you're right. It blew up so fast that it's like, how can we make money off this? Build as many crappy hotels as possible. Sorry, Roop. Good for them. They got better.
I thought you just called Will Roop, and I was like, oh, no, it's happening. The Swiss cheese has settled.
He's apologizing to people. He's insulting. Just yelling.
He doesn't listen to the show anymore.
I know he doesn't listen, but it'll get back to him. He's like, Tom was calling Daytona hotels
And then
trash.
I was like, shut it down. Shut him down. And then they'll shut him
Yeah, you can have me killed. Anyway, sorry, Will.
You can have me killed, Will.
Uh-oh, Roop's calling.
We are familiar with like releasing an app and then all the feedback you get, which
it's all positive, right? Like everybody's always satisfied. Everything always works.
Well, I'm releasing it today, launching it right here, right now. I haven't even publicized it, so Tom and Dan is the show. I'm coming exclusive to launch the app, so I'm going to get all this feedback this afternoon because that press release that I showed you, I haven't made it public yet.
Okay, all right. So
it's going to be launched right after the show.
Okay, so we're talking about it for the first time now. Now, my suggestion, just some advice, is don't ask for feedback because then you know why?
Don't ask for none, won't be none.
Ungrateful bastards.
You know why? Because then people are like, well, I liked it, but now they're asking for it, so I'm just going to think of anything.
It might help.
What's wrong?
I don't like the colors.
Yeah. This line is crooked.
It makes my hand look small when I look at the phone in my hand.
And then I understand you want to know what doesn't work or what, but just your opinion on what the actual content is, I don't want.
Fair enough.
Don't even say.
And you're speaking for Will.
Something subjective. I'm just
don't waste Will's time. Don't waste Will's time.
You know, the historic downtown Sanford network on social media has gotten really big. I run a large group as well, and I see how social media, what it turns into. You know, I'm constantly blocking people because I keep it as a positive only network. Like, you can't go on there and bash a restaurant. You just can't. You know what I mean? And if you say something semi-negative, I'm like, I may delete it. But if you start insulting,
cheese sticks are subpar.
Well, that would be fine. But no, people are mean out there sometimes on social media. So I'll just ban people because you cannot. It's a promotional brochure, is what historic downtown Sanford is, right? The entire thing is to make ourselves look good. So I can't have people bashing local businesses and stuff like that. So I see what it can turn into easily. And so today I'll be promoting the app and I'll be getting feedback, and I'm sure I'll hear a whole bunch of stuff. But
you gonna have a thick skin for that, or no?
I hope. I mean, the app is pretty awesome.
For 30 years.
The app looks really good. Man.
I sent it to a bunch of people that I know, like 50 people, and got their feedback, and everyone was like, "This is awesome."
Great. Yeah.
So,
and do you sometimes you fall into when you're making an app, like everything works fine, it's got everything you need, but then in your mind you're like, "What else do I need?"
Yes.
And then you start adding features that no one even wanted, and then like not that you're.
We've added the ability to talk to us at all times.
And because you just want to keep growing it, but you don't. You're just like, all right, it can be good the way it is, and just more people need to know about it.
But it's Snapchat filters.
That's want to hear this crazy idea? I have a crazy, expensive idea, but it's too freaking awesome not to at least attempt.
Okay, all right.
So you drive into downtown Sanford. Normally you come on First Street, right? Some people may come from Sanford Ave, but you're not sure where to park, right? So you point your phone to the sky, and then you see a giraffe out in the sky or a bear and the animal giraffe? Moving. AR, augmented reality, and you just go towards that way. Imagine at an event. Where are the bathrooms? Where's the band? Where's check-in? You just point your phone to the sky, and there you see check-in with an arrow.
Well, that's too much.
Isn't that badass? Isn't that badass?
You can't do that.
That's totally possible. A sky giraffe.
And then the sky giraffe, he's like, hey, parking's over here.
Oh, and you'll talk. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I'll do the voice for free. For free. That's my gift to you.
The Sky Giraffe's going to tell me where to pee.
The supervillains are on stage. You're about to miss it. Sky Giraffe.
Drinking tonight.
Don't drink it tonight. We know.
DJ Dom, he's at a Wild Wild West in Sky Giraffe.
That may be too much, Will. I mean, the Sky Giraffe, I mean, how much is it to build? What technology is that?
I like the AR.
It exists. Augmented reality.
Augmented
like
reality.
Go.
We were just messing with it.
You ever play Pokemon Go?
No, we're not gay.
We make fun of a guy that doesn't.
Around.
I know.
I'm messing around.
You see where the bathroom
I was pretending to be a child when I said
but I wanted to point towards like the dumpsters behind West End. Like, hey, a lot of people
behind here, Sky Giraffe.
Well, that's cool. But I guess.
Hey, it smells like urine over here. You're in the right place.
So the app will, I'm guessing, evolve with what people want, and you'll start to see that. Like, I never even thought of this.
Yeah, and I have all these new ideas as well, like adding events. Like, even though you can see the events, but adding an event as a listing and all the details in that makes it even more powerful.
Yeah, and so then it's just when you go to Sanford, you go to your app and then find out everything that's going on.
I think
where
the app
park.
should be called Sky Giraffe now, right?
I really like that.
It's kind of like HBO Max just going to Max. Instead of historic downtown Sanford app, just call it Sky Giraffe.
Sky Giraffe.
Let's just start the branding. We'll get Danger Man rolling.
I like
and we'll just do it.
So, Will, are you familiar? Do you know anybody over at Cabana Live? Because I passed by
Here
the
we
other
go.
day.
He's looking for a hookup.
Let's talk dreams. Let's talk Tom Sky Giraffe.
Download the app first, and now this is other business.
It's a
here.
great app, by the way. I already got it. And
let me talk about a little bit about Cabana Live and other places like the zoo. And so I feel that historic downtown Sanford now has become like ground zero for the city of Sanford.
Yeah.
And there's other things you can do. Like Cabana Live, we don't have something like that in downtown. We can go swimming and party.
Yeah, that's far away. The other side of the lake.
Yeah, it's at the Boat Tree Marina. So it's only
I'm
maybe
familiar.
Boat Tree Marina.
I'm familiar.
His boat's there.
That's why I pass
Sometimes.
by. I pass by Cabana Live all the time, but I poke my head in. I'm like, they're partying in
You
here.
can hear the party.
That's like 8-10 minutes away.
Yeah,
So I think we could promote all of the city of Sanford, not just downtown, but I think there's a lot other things to do if you're spending 2-3 days there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. And just being there's so much more with the lake. Like Lake Monroe is so gigantic,
yes.
and then it goes into the St. John's, goes all the way to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
if you want to go.
And that's the old. I mean, that's why we've talked about the history of Orlando. Sanford was the hub of Central Florida because of that riverway.
Yeah.
Like you would,
And then we stole it. We stole it from them. We stole their fame.
Yeah. You'd take the river to Sanford Marina, and then Sanford was the town because that's how you got goods and things down the river.
What do you want to do at Cabana Live?
Oh, okay.
You want to do the Banana Live, Cabana Live?
I want to do
Banana Live.
There's a lot of cabanas,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, all right. I mean, there's
We're
money
going
in
to have
that.
to call a special meeting. We have to get Super Dave out here. We need Busey on.
He basically lives there.
Yeah, we need Busey.
I
We
know.
need Super
Yeah.
Dave.
Well, I need
Pat and Taco.
I need to
Cat Ridgeway.
get Will to,
Jim Colbert.
put in a good word
Be
with
the
the
liaison
owners.
there.
Yeah.
We need
because if you just go through the
Cabin
form,
Boy from
then
Gabe Toberfest. Get him out there. We need David Jolly out there.
Yeah. We have
everybody out there.
I want to do the Tom and Dan
Banana Live, Cabana
No,
Live.
the Tom and Dan disgusting pool party. Cabana Live 2025.
Sky Giraffe presents.
I love it. I love it.
Sky Giraffe presents It's Slam Hogapalooza.
PP pool party.
Swamogapalooza?
Swamogapalooza.
We've never done a slam.
huge.
Would you
Park underneath
Yeah.
the power lines. That's where I park on my boat. There's gators in there. Don't fall in the lake or the damn river. There's gators. I see guys feed them hot dogs.
So we do a Miss Slam Hog competition?
Yeah. I'll talk to Will. Me and
yeah.
Will got a lot
Yeah.
of business to
I-
do.
I
Okay.
love the ideas, man, that flow here.
All right.
I love it.
Sky Giraffe, Slamogapalooza.
Yeah. Download the app. Just search Historic Downtown Sanford on any
In
of
the
your
App
app
Store.
stores.
Yep.
It's there.
It's a quick download,
Yeah.
great little app.
Yeah, have on your front page just to reference every time you're in Sanford and you need to know where to park, or things to do.
I'm surprised. Now, you can tell me to cut this part out.
Okay.
Sorry if we're done. But I'm surprised the city hasn't incentivized you and paid you to make it so you can pay for paid parking on the app. Or is all the parking free?
All the parking is free.
Well, there's lots of ideas
even
here.
Better.
Yeah.
Even better, right? Like, even better than my ideas. You just look at the app and go park
Cut
instead
that
of...
out. Do not say the word. Do not say the words paid parking.
Cut that out.
It was the whole.
No paid
the
parking, it's
whole-
free parking.
Yeah. All the parking is free, but that's a good idea. We'll write that down.
Yeah, write that down.
That Slam Hogapalooza. Write that down.
Sky Giraffe.
Sky Giraffe.
Sky Giraffe, I think, is the best idea.
I think we
coming
did.
out of here.
I think we did great work today.
Will, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it. We'll
Thanks
be
for having
talking to
me.
you soon, and we'll be promoting the app and everything
Well,
Sanford for
we'll
a while.
be using the app. It's like useful for you and I that forget all the details of our own events in Sanford. It's actually going to be quite nice to be able to go on the app and get all the
Yeah,
details.
the Airbnb is on there
Yeah.
and where
Yep.
to stay.
Yeah,
I appreciate
man.
that.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, man.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that.
I
So
also
good luck
added the
with it.
Bad at Business flyer on there,
Yep,
too.
no,
I saw that.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
We really appreciate that,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
We love Sanford, and especially growing up in DeLand. I spent a ton of time in Sanford, so it's really cool to be able to work with you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, we'll be done for today.
We'll see you
And-
tomorrow.
What else?
Sky Jeff, forward giraffe away!
Sky Giraffe, I love it.
That's a style of music I feel like that is very dated 90s,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it does it
Something
show up
so
around
loud.
currently. It's big,
I mean, there's indie bands.
but indie bands don't sound like 90s indie bands, right?
It's coming back around. Grunge and like
it's
90s
coming back
indies
around.
back.
But I put Third
It's
Eye
not
Blind.
really on the radio, though.
Third Eye Blind,
Radio.
Counting Crows.
I was talking to a lady yesterday about the radio, and she only listens to the radio.
How old
She was asking me radio questions. She's younger than me.
She's younger than you. Hold on.
She has kids. She questioned me about a radio station changing formats. She's like, "Oh, don't you work with the radio? Why did 95.3 change?" I'm like, "I don't know.
What did it change to?
I don't know.
Listen,
I don't even know what it is
I haven't
now."
followed radio since 2012.
Oh, okay, listen, I'm not going to talk ass about radio. This is not what it's about. But
Oh, it's El Nuevo.
is she aware that her phone has unlimited entertainment she can
Yeah.
listen to?
She thought she was talking to a radio superstar.
She said no. She was not impressed at all. She said sometimes she likes to just turn on the radio and listen to whatever's on.
I do too. I do too. But
Yeah, okay,
I
so
like
it's
that new Spotify DJ Beta. That's what I use.
You don't want to make the decision. You want someone else to make
I'm
the
sure,
decision
yeah, I'm
for
sure
you.
that's part of
it's
it.
like
But they
getting a
have that-
paycheck versus paying yourself. I get it.
But isn't there something? I say that person's less fun than I am because isn't there something you're into? Something you like?
What do you mean?
Like-
She might have other things she's like going on in her life. Just because she decides in the radio, like just whatever puts in her ears, she just goes easy.
I understand, but
She could crochet.
Because-
She could be a crafter.
because you can listen to the radio about anything you want. So it's like if
No,
you're
no,
a crafter,
I will make this argument.
Can
It
you
is
listen to
no.
crafting?
You have to decide what you want to listen to. Go there, find it. Fantasy
There's some work
footballers
to
and
it.
press play.
Yeah.
That is harder. You can never win this one. It is harder than
is.
just
No,
Concrete Toad going to his truck, turning it on,
yeah.
and whatever is on, it could be JRR, it could be us, it could be News Junkie, doesn't matter. That's what you get.
But I understand the talk radio aspect of it because you like the personality. So the talk radio aspect of it will always. I'm not.
What if you like butt rock?
like
you put on JRR, you ride the butt rock.
Yeah, but and then maybe because you like Pat and Taco and you like
Love Pat and Taco.
great
Love 'em.
guys.
Love
So they're
'em.
good. So you get in, but I'm talking
Sprinkle
about
a little Super Dave on there.
So say, but beyond that, if you're just like I like, some butt rock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything but rock. That's what it stands for.
But then it's like, well, isn't there some butt rock you like more than other, or don't you want like unlimited butt rock from around the world?
Okay,
or like
world
Butt
butt
rock
rock.
from around the
I was saying,
world.
World butt rock.
or
We might
just
be
like
onto a new. This might be a
more
International butt rock.
Because if you go
Tom
to
and Dan present International Butt Rock.
I guess Spotify
With Seven Dust.
or any other radio, internet radio, it like
and
costs money.
Five-Finger Death Punch.
Spotify's free, right?
Yes, with commercials.
There
it's
is a
free.
version that
Yeah.
is free.
But so if beyond the
I
personalities,
like to be surprised. I like to be surprised. Like if I went into even now, if I go into Spotify, there is an enjoyment level that I get, and this could be my age or just the fact that I like being surprised when it comes to music. I'll go in and I'll see it'll say rock mix. I don't even look at the picture. I don't even look at the names because it'll be like Offspring, Lagwagon. I don't even look at that. I just hit it, and what do I get? What do I get?
So it's kind of like pulling the slot machine.
It is, yeah.
It's like,
it
what-
kind of is to me, yeah.
But-
or like like when you.
But don't you want a smarter slot machine? As far
Are you
as
talking about my wife?
no, like you want a smarter algorithm,
But it requires
curated
me
to
doing
you.
more work, right?
I guess you have to push Spotify.
Now, Spotify
On
does
your
have their DJ
phone.
X, that beta that I'm using, the Spotify DJ beta, and I like that. It actually hits the mark pretty good.
How many people are driving around without the ability to Bluetooth from their phone to their car radio? I mean, what
Right now?
percentage?
Without the ability, or just don't do it.
Well, just without the ability. The car has the ability, or
Well,
does it?
we have one person right here. I know you have the ability in your truck, but you don't Bluetooth to it, do you?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course I do.
Okay, I'm just
What do you
making
think
sure.
I do?
No, I think you go
I
in
thought
there.
you said before you couldn't
Yeah.
figure out how to
I
connect.
figured it out.
Okay, see,
well,
I just wanted to, did you see how mad he looked
Yeah.
at me? And I'm like,
Well,
I
what do
looked
you
at
think?
Sam and I'm like, that's confirmed.
I'm
He
saying-
said that
You
before.
have said that
well,
before.
Thank you. My
Sometime-
God, he
well-
looked like he's going to punch my face.
No, sometimes it doesn't work.
I thought you were
and
gonna
I get
fight
Oh,
mad.
now sometimes it doesn't work.
I thought you were going to punch my face.
So
and
it's
then
a 50-50
And
whether
I
it works.
also
No.
remember a lot when you had a hard problem when U2 partnered with Apple and they put that album on there. You had a problem where every time you get in your Subaru,
That
it
still
starts playing
happens.
U2.
Well, no, that still happens now with Eminem and
What?
and
Please say Kid Rock.
No, God, is the comedian died of a heroin overdose?
Mitch
Geraldo.
Hedberg?
Mitch Hedberg.
There's so many.
There's a lot of them. Yeah.
That's the only thing I have downloaded on my iTunes is Mitch Hedberg and Eminem.
That's
Wow.
pretty good.
Well, that
pretty
is,
good. Yeah. You are a
what
dilly
year
dad.
is it?
You are a dilly dad.
By the way, multiple times. This years ago, when my sons were younger, I would load them in my truck to take them to school. I forget something, then I would turn on the truck, and then when I get back, it's blasting Eminem. He cursed crazy.
It's like Killing Kim, and you're like, uh-oh.
No, it was his new album.
New album? Who's listening to that?
He loves Kamikaze. Kamikaze. I know you're a Kamikaze.
I don't even love it. I hated it. But I downloaded it on a road trip, and then
I'm gonna get me some Eminem, pump myself up for this road trip.
And then every time I go, I'm like, oh God! Instead of deleting, I just need to delete the album, but I go through the same thing over and over.
Just turn
every
up
morning.
your iTunes.
When I turn my truck on,
don't throw up.
The phone automatically starts playing Eminem and Mitch Hedberg.
Do you ever close out iTunes or anything? If you close it out, and you get in your car, it's not just gonna. It shouldn't. Arguably, it should not. If that program or app is not running on your phone, it shouldn't open it up when you get in the. No,
it kickstarts.
No, it doesn't.
Something happens where I don't even.
Yeah, you don't close any of your apps. I bet you got 1,000 apps open. And I bet half of them are porn sites.
I swipe up a million times.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
And I restart my phone.
Andrea doesn't do it, and she's pretty logical. No. I look at Andrea. I'm like, how many apps you got running? She's like, 72. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the CPU power of your phone can only handle so much.
But I never even use I guess I use iTunes for my podcasts, and that's where
they get you.
It kicks on the music when I start. I bet there's probably a button I can go and change.
Let's get back to your question because I don't want to lose it. He said
how many people are driving around with the ability to Bluetooth and are not?
I want to try to
without the ability.
Without the ability.
Like without the ability at all.
Is it 50-50?
I mean, all the old school cars.
Yeah, but the cars started having that ability in 2005.
You got a lot.
I don't know about 2005.
I think there's a lot of old men.
It's more than 15 years ago they started producing.
I had it in my 07 GTI, so you can start with 07. I mean,
yeah, and I think it was before that,
probably.
So
your higher end cars did have it.
I think.
Oh wow, 2001 was the first Bluetooth hands-free car kit.
Yeah, I'd say it was. I'd say
built in where your stock car comes with a Bluetooth radio.
The Subaru Impreza in 2008 was the first model to offer Bluetooth services.
I'm sure there are plenty of companies that don't allow you to Bluetooth, right?
So it's got to be 75% of cars driving around you could Bluetooth.
Well, but I'm saying that I'm sure there are certain people that have company cars where certain things aren't allowed, and I'm sure there are dumb old men that just go with the radio because it's easy. I know the reasons. I'm just saying and yes, there's plenty of reasons why you just go to a terrestrial radio. I'm curious about the people that have the smartphone and then just choose terrestrial beyond the personalities. The personalities I could totally understand. Gotcha. You got used to they make you enjoy hearing your personalities, right? So that out the window. Okay. I'm talking about just go to for a specific genre of music instead of using their phone if they can, just for the fact that they don't want to push a button on their smartphone. Sometimes I get overwhelmed in making a choice of a starting song. And it's easier for me to give that decision to somebody else.
But like sometimes Spotify offers that. You just put in, I guess,
what do you type in?
Any band that you like, and then it'll give you...
Yeah, but I don't even want to do that. You tell me what I like. There's I don't want to... Sometimes I do get that, where I'll be like, I want to listen to some really good classic 90s and early 2000s punk rock. And then I'm like, uh-oh, who do I start with? Lagwagon, Pennywise, Bad Religion, NoFX...
There's like 5 people in the chat that don't have Bluetooth in their car.
Yeah, I think the percentages are I think we're off. I think we're off on the percentages. And by we, I mean you. But I mean, like, seriously, we're off.
2016 Sentra doesn't allow Bluetooth music, only phone calls.
2016?
2016. We have a 2017 Jeep, no Bluetooth radio stock.
That's on you for cheaping out. Sorry.
I don't have Bluetooth in my car.
I got to have Bluetooth in my car. I got to have Bluetooth.
I thought in like 2017.
Need aux cord to center console.
Yeah, I thought it was always standard. I'm with you.
Because it was just some cheap thing to put in there. Why not? It's like, I know it's
They do fail a lot, though, Bluetooth modules. I don't know if that's a factor in, but I've had more Bluetooth modules fail in my life than any other product I've ever owned. I've had 3 fail in our Peloton, like where it won't connect to headphones. I don't know why. I think it's because they're mass-produced and unreliable. But
that's not to switch gears totally here, but so we were talking to Glenn, and I'm constantly asking how I could make my sons passionate about something and better or whatever. And every time I talk to people like Glenn or anybody else that started young doing something, it's really not necessarily about someone
pushing them into doing it. Yes,
but
they naturally went to it.
But also the environment around them aided in that as well.
A supportive family,
Well, no, I'm just talking about like he's like there was nothing else to distract me, so I wanted to do this, and it's
like you lock a child in his room with a guitar, and like there's nothing else to do. Well, of course he became Yngwie. You know, it's like,
and that seems damn near impossible nowadays in 2023 when you do have that other thing. So even referencing,
I mean, Maisie doesn't.
Yeah,
but I didn't have anything to do with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily think it is what you're saying, like the digital thing, because if the kid is naturally inclined to want to do it, they'll do it.
Yeah. So
now, could you hack this a little bit? Now, I mean, depending on what people think is like, you know, I'm not getting into any type of abuse here, but could you, if you wanted to inspire, not Tommy and Max, because I think they're too old now. But like when your kids were like 1 and 2,
washed up at 8 and 9.
No. I just mean like 1 and 2 before they formed anything. Could you have limited all the almost like you've limited their influence from all these other things, and you just only give them musical instruments, and all you and your wife are always doing is we're just doing music all the time.
Absolutely.
And you can
indoctrination. Indoctrination works for sure.
They'll turn their back on it when they get older.
Correct.
And resent you for it.
That could happen too.
Well, the problem comes with you can indoctrinate a kid that's young enough until they get into the real world. And what that I mean is like they go to preschool, and they go to preschool early at 3-4 years old. You know, like you're sending your kid at least a couple hours, and then by the time it's real preschool, they're 5. So still, and then now they're released in a world where everybody else is living a different way and consuming things in a different way, and then like they're looking at iPads and involved in a Roblox and all stuff. And then I feel it's like, all right, well, yes, I can understand the concept of like just eliminating all of that will make them a better person, possibly.
Yeah.
But they're also
weirdos.
The person that is different than the rest of their peers in society.
Right. You make them stand out.
Which is also...
Well, which one do you want, Tom?
It's hard. It's a hard balance. Like for May, I didn't even choose what she got into, right? Like hers was...
I don't think you should.
No, you shouldn't. But I mean, I got lucky. If you're looking at it, right? It's just like a scratch-off ticket. We took her to a camp. She didn't even see other people doing it. She just needed a camp to fill some time. We took her to the camp. The camp happened to be a dance camp. She danced with the teachers, and then they said, hey, do you like this to her? And she's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Max likes breakdancing, right? Cultivate
he's
that.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, but he doesn't want. He's not. I mean,
didn't he ask to join it?
Yeah, no. But he goes once a week, and he's not practicing. He's not.
So get him in there more.
Or
practice with him at home. You start breakdancing with him.
I would love to see you breakdance.
He's not driven. Maisie's doing 30 hours a week of dance, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and wants to do that. My kids, they don't want to do 30 hours a week of
leave them
hardcore
alone.
grind.
Let them play their games. I don't understand.
I'm just asking, how do you make someone better?
Can't.
Yeah, I don't.
I
don't think it's better though. So I don't know. I disagree with you there. I don't necessarily think that Maisie's any better because she does that. She just happened to find something she really likes.
Maybe they'll get really good at video games.
God, I that's what I want. I wanted to play nothing but Starfield with my daughter.
But
also don't make them work so much. They're kids. They're going to have to work the rest of their lives. Let them be kids.
But I think
you think I make them work, Sam? Their life is
but you're obsessed. You're obsessed with trying to get them to grind and hustle. And it's like, man, just let them be kids.
I think they'll get there.
They're in elementary school.
No,
leave them alone.
Well,
they're just babies.
I know. But I want to make them better people, and their life is too good. And that's what I get scared of. I'm like, am I ruining
You provide that, though.
I know.
Okay.
I don't think you're ruining them, man.
It's selfish because I want them to have a good life.
Yeah, I don't think you're ruining them.
But then you don't either. I don't understand your logic because it's insane person.
No, I'm scared that providing such a good life is going to somehow hinder them becoming.
All right, so you pull back a little bit. That sounds like a you problem, not them.
I know. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Their life is great.
From the Twitch chat room, maybe this will help you. From our buddy Ghost, he says, "I think Tom is overthinking it a little bit. I was the same as his kids. I like doing maybe one activity a week, and other than that, I wanted to play Mario and watch wrestling."
Right.
And he's one of the nicest, most productive, cool people we know. So I would say being worried about it is fine.
Yeah, that's all I am.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
You know, I'm just worried that, like, I always look back and like, can I do something better? I hate to look back and then be like, oh man, I could have done this. I look back at my life now and I'm like, man, if I only would have worked harder instead of wasted time.
That's a terrible way to live, man.
In my 20s, no.
To always look back and be like, man, if I would have done this, my life would have been better.
Yeah,
that's how I get better.
I'm trying to see if I do that.
Yeah.
I think
But you can't go back and change it.
I
so.
know. I don't dwell on it, and I
see.
don't.
That's the difference. I do.
But it's like you do. You say, I think about it all the time. That's called dwelling.
I'm a dweller.
No, but here's the thing. It's like looking at your future self and then thinking, what would my future self want me to do now? Right? And then I could look back at my past and be like, man, I bet I would want myself to do this in the past because my life could have been maybe better in these areas. Right?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I wish I would have started living a healthier life in my 20s,
sure,
instead of in my 40s. You know what I'm saying? And then I could have been maybe a better person.
So you try to take that and then apply it to the things you're working on now.
So yeah, now I'm looking at my what will my future self want me to do now? And then I think to myself, my future self probably would want me to do more for my kids to make them better people now, because I'll think that in the future I'll say, man, I bet if I would have done this with Tommy and Max more or spent more time doing this, they would have been better people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
chat room again saying this is Tom's go-to when he just wants to come in for a landing, make us laugh, clown.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's not very nice. That is not very nice. That is a horrible thing to say.
I'm just talking ass.
I will defend my friend.
Just talking.
I will defend my friend. You guys say he's unfeeling, but when he bears his soul and shares some things that he feels about that might be emotions, you guys bully him, and I will not let you
No,
know.
because when people try and give him advice, he just dismisses it. So it's like, well, I'm not really sure why you're asking.
He loves dismissing. He's the best at dismissing.
I love asking and dismissing. Those are my favorite things.
His name would be congeniality.
Damn it,
I messed up my joke. I messed up my own joke.
Let me get a piece of that cake, and then I punt it in the trash.
Let me get a piece of that cake. That sounded sexual.
Right in front.
He did say that, and he looked right at you and he said it.
And then it's like, I punted it right in the trash in front of you, and you gave me your cake.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why'd you do that? Why'd you even ask for the cake? I just wanted
I want my cake and throw it away, too.
Well, help me. Maybe you can help me. Okay, so Maisie's all into this dance. You guys help me because, look, you're trying to...
I can't help no one.
Well, you can. You can help me.
No, she's already better than I am.
No,
she needs to help him.
No, you need to help. She's doing the dance thing. I want her to do dance and sing. Maisie has a good voice. She has a good voice.
Yeah.
She has good pitch. More than having a good voice, because I've learned, especially in listening to pop music now, that you don't necessarily need a good voice. You need a unique voice and good pitch. Right? You got to be able to stay on tune. You got to be able to, know how to sing.
Yeah.
She's got good pitch. And I'm like, oh, God, but then I don't necessarily want to push my daughter into a musical theater. That's that's how you live with your parents forever, I guess. It's not gonna
become the most famous person. Look at Taylor Swift.
I don't know how to get her to sing more, though.
She's not much of a dancer.
She won't sing with me.
If she could dance, you'd be bigger than she is.
Yes, she would.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe she's working on it right now. I got to teach her how to sing more, and I don't know how to do it. She doesn't have time for it.
I have it.
Take her to a karaoke bar.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
I do this all the time with my sons.
Keck social.
You guys are singing Eminem Kamikaze in the truck.
Oh, Lord.
I say out loud that I'm like, I wish I had a son that liked to work really hard.
You
That's
do
what my
not.
parents used to do. Oh, I wish I had a son that behaved like Invisible Jack. Dude,
you're giving the Invisible Jack?
And then they're like, I want to be that. So you have to
Don't do Invisible Jack.
So you have to say, I wish I had a daughter
emotional abuse.
that liked to sing and dance.
I wish I had a daughter that liked to sing with her dad like that.
Yeah.
guilty.
Just say it out loud, and then she's like, "Well, are you talking about me?" I'm like,
Oh
"No,
my
no,
God.
I'm just saying that I wish I
Just in
had
general.
one
Even-
that like this."
Christine got it right, even though she forgot his name. She said, "Oh my God, you're doing the Invisible Brother. You are. You're doing my mom and dad."
Yeah, well, then you.
Which I think I'm in. Like I think that's
why he's
I
in
go to my-
therapy.
Yeah, this is why I'm in therapy every Thursday at 4 p.m. is because of goddamn Invisible Jack.
Well, they created one of the most talented and crazy people I know.
That's
you
the
can't have it all.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I want to hug you
You
right now.
can't have it all. With the crazy comes a talent. You have neither, then you got a dud. A dud.
No
a
dud-
normal,
no dud
untalented
guarantees.
dud.
No dud guarantees.
You gotta have the damage that creates the
I don't
superstar.
necessarily think that's true because Glenn seemed pretty even keeled, man.
Oh,
He's
he told me he's
I don't
not a
know.
superstar.
I don't know. When I listened to him, I heard a little when he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." Then I burned out. I was like, "There it is. There it is, Glenn."
But he brought it back better than ever.
He was like, "By the time I was 27,
I don't
I was
think-
pretty much washed up."
Is he playing? Is Toad the Wet Sprocket playing? Or is
Yeah.
that a different? Okay. all
yeah,
right.
they
fully-
tour every summer.
I thought that, for instance, like that he's in a new named band, and I said
He does
that.
some solo stuff,
Okay.
but no, they're touring this
He
summer.
pretty much has the dream job, right? So he gets to do his stuff whenever he wants and make his own schedule.
Raised his kids.
Yeah, raise his kids and be with his
The school
family.
year,
and
yeah.
then
tour
during
in
the
the
summer,
summer.
he goes and he gets to play rock
He
star.
can
with-
record at his own house.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And
Pretty
of course-
good.
Yeah, you build the life you want. If you
What? Write that down.
It's some people don't, like. I learned that as I got older, where I just thought like, oh, you want the most money then as possible. That's what. That's all that matters,
That's what
right?
it's all about.
Right? You want just to make the most money, and then you realize like, oh, there's the other things that are more valuable than that, and then you have to build what you want.
If you build it.
Ghost of Manu Bull has a perfect thing to end with. He says, "Everyday fatzos and normal untalented duds are the core of the T&D audience."
I know.
And thank you for your service.
Yeah, we could. That's
Yeah.
all.
We couldn't
Real
do without
American
you
heroes.
duds. We should have a shirt that just says "dud."
I'm a dud. We're all duds.
Oops, all done.
Maybe we should have called them.
If we
should have
were-
called them duds. All of our
Big
listeners.
dud millionaires.
I think our listeners should be called duds.
Yeah, if we weren't duds, we'd be on Joe Rogan right now.
Exactly.
Brooke Kreischer
We
and
started
Segura.
this before all these guys, and look at us, total duds.
Yeah, we saw them. Well, there they go. Dudding down here.
Yeah, no report.
All right. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
This is a welcome to.
Oh, God. 50-50 chance.
I know.
And I went for it.
Yeah.
Confidently. I was like, I can do it. I can do it. Here we go.
Okay.
Welcome to A Corporate Time. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
If you want to check out our Tom and Dan Cruise 2024, just go to TomandDanCruise2024.com.
Yeah, the
And it's
boats
there.
are the best, I've heard.
Okay, hold on. Why did you bring that up like it's hard with customer service because someone's perception of customer service is subjective.
Yeah, it is.
And it's hard to know, is it a fundamental flaw in the business, or is the person you dealt with not good at customer service?
Sure.
In a day and age where no one's good at customer service anymore, so what do you expect?
Well, I'm glad you're
Right?
talking about customer
Do you
service.
expect good customer service?
I don't
Sam?
anymore. I don't with...
It depends where I go.
I
Yeah,
don't
if
with
you're
fast food anymore or
No.
anything quick serve or anything. Like, I expect the worst,
Yeah,
actually.
if it's cheap, then you should do the math that you're not going to get good customer service. If you are at the best hotel spending the most amount of money, then you should expect good customer service.
Right. No,
if
I
you're
get
in the
it.
Walmart, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
How
I
much
get it.
customer service do you expect at Walmart?
I think
That's what I
across
should
the
ask
board,
you.
though, it's all bad. You know, like I've had bad experiences with like really great places lately. I mean, just across the board, I think it's taken a little dip.
Of course, well, yeah, that happened since COVID,
Yeah.
and then no one wants to do horrible jobs anymore, which they never wanted to do. It's just the internet.
But
made
sometimes,
it,
you luck out. Like I've had, like to go back to your point though, I have had good customer service at Walmart, and I've had bad customer service at fancy places. It just like,
Dude, I stopped at Taco Bell. I talked to most S about fast food or whatever, and me and Crystal stopped at Taco Bell Bell for some reason.
Yeah, me and Maisie's favorite.
Cheesy gordita crunch.
Me and Maisie love straight up the bond over Taco Bell.
I haven't been to Taco Bell in a while.
Maisie loves it.
I ordered the chicken soft tacos or whatever because I was trying
soft tacos.
I was trying to be healthy.
Get a taco.
Be healthier at Taco Bell. Okay.
No,
it's actually it's actually not the nastiest place you can eat.
The kids won't even eat there, but me and Crystal, it was like $44. Like,
how much did you buy, dude?
I got 4 chicken soft tacos, and Crystal got some mumbo jumbo.
No, it's the mumbo jumbo that drive up the price. Anytime you start changing the order,
I was like $44.
Good.
I was like, God
but
damn.
Did you Uber Eats it to the house or did you pick it up?
No, we picked it up. But anyway,
that's a lot of Taco Bell.
Yeah, that is a lot of Taco Bell.
No, but it wasn't even that much. That's what I'm saying.
I go all the time.
You gotta get the $5 box.
Man, I go all the time with Maisie, and we don't spend more than about $10, and that's like 3 people. You know, like we got tacos, we got a box.
Getting a regular taco without the sour cream.
I'm getting a bean burrito, add sour cream, and a Mexican pizza. That's like $6.
Oh,
and then
that's a basic.
Well, what are you getting? I mean, how much Taco Bell do you require?
What I'm saying, like,
get the $5 box. You get like 5 different things in it for $5
and a drink.
Well, it's not even about the money. It's about me being.
Well, you were
surprised.
just bitching about $45 at Taco Bell, so it is about the money.
Right, but I didn't go there to find the cheapest food.
Right.
I'm like, what's the cheapest? I just wanted some chicken added to my sauce.
She must have got one of the pizzas, right? Those are pricey. It looks like.
No, she gets something with beans instead of meat, and then there's something else.
When they start doing that, I just start hitting that add $1 button. If you start telling me to change things, I'm like,
black bean Crunchwrap Supreme.
It's
that
I don't
pretty
know,
good.
whatever it is. $44.
But it was good. You have a good customer service.
Hell no.
No, you didn't.
I thought you were talking about the food. The customer service, the lady was super nice and like very polite and helpful.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes you get that.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I was like, what? I mean, like, you're gonna be.
You'll be gone soon. Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. This has to be breaking her spirit.
We have one lady. Andrea has this one lady that only does fast food, and she does 2 fast food places that are next to each other, and she does a shift at one and a shift at another, and she's like a lifer, and she's like kind of working her way up to managing both. Like she's trying to elevate, and it's working, and she's very pleasant. But
if you want to stay there, you're
right.
But most people, it's like, I hate this job. I will not be here that long. I hope I get fired. I don't care.
I mean, speaking of fast food, let's pivot just a touch to microwaves. I saw a article. I think it was in. Oh God, I forget what it was. Like maybe the New York Times or something, where they were talking about how everything in your kitchen has gotten smarter. Everything in your house, for the most part, has gotten better or more evolved or, can help you more. But the microwave has stayed pretty basic since it's been created. It's a microwave is a microwave is a microwave is a microwave. So
our new oven has settings where, I think if we got the one above it, it would have
always
Bluetooth
get the one above it. Why didn't you get the Bluetooth oven?
You could get some sort of Bluetooth, but it has some settings where, if you're Jewish or whatever, it won't work on certain days.
Oh, I thought if you were Jewish, you could stream your Spotify to it. I was like, that's cool. Only if you're
take
Jewish.
off for the Sabbath.
It was like, it has
Sabbath mode.
It's smart.
Sabbath mode. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, and it's got other programs that you could use and
Where is the AI smart microwave? Where is it?
It's been the same forever.
Thank you. And
they do have smart microwaves.
I started reading this article though, but no, I want a microwave. I want a microwave.
That doesn't mean it doesn't.
No, but I like the way he said it too. Hold on.
I never seen it.
You said there are smart microwaves, and then he yelled, "I never seen it."
And I spent $44 at Taco Bell.
This is what I want. I want a microwave where I can take, and I did say it wrong right there. I said I want a microwave where I can go and I can take whatever Maisie wants. Let's say she wants me to warm up. Her favorite food is meatballs because he's a trucker. So I can take the meatballs and put them in there, and I want to hit the button. And it's because, we all have the sensor in the microwave. It's sensing, it's sensing gravy. Oh, it's sensing a plate of breakfast. No, it's not. Because all that stuff it doesn't work. None of it works. Popcorn sensor, wrong, burn. All of it's wrong. None of this, it's using the sensors. No, it's not. Put the sensors in. We want the real sensors. I demand the real sensors. Where are the real sensors? My car has
Whirlpool
sensors.
has a touch screen.
My car can drive itself.
Have voice control. They have a scan to cook option where you can scan a barcode on your food packaging and then it will automatically read how long it needs to be microwaved.
Let's get one of these for the studio.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen someone have this. Like
Me
any
neither.
friend.
No, none of my rich friends have
expensive.
this. All my rich friends, the only thing that I've seen that my rich friends have had that I was like, well, that's a waste of money that I want, is the refrigerator with the TV in it so you can watch your fantasy football
yeah,
while
I
you're
want one
cooking.
of those too.
Yeah, those are dope.
Yeah, but like we got nicer appliances and we went
I don't.
cheaper.
I don't. You,
No, I was
look,
like, I did not
You
have
look
nice
me in the
appliances.
eyes before you ever
We
say
spent
that. You look me in the eyes before you ever say that. You
$5,000.
remember who my wife is before you ever say that, sir. I don't ever get to
You
buy.
just said his kitchen was 2005.
It is, and my wife, the appliances we got, we didn't even get ice in the door. We got nothing. We got the
Yeah.
old brushed aluminum standard. It is.
I don't even have that. I got the white fridge.
And then my wife,
You don't have ice in your door?
No.
Tom
My God.
Van.
My God.
You owe me an apology.
I was about to spit on you.
I wanted you to. I wanted you to spit on me.
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
the most
I'm
action,
into that.
most action I've had all week.
How could you have respect for yourself
know.
when you bring guests over? You
I
don't even
know.
have ice in your door and
I
you
know.
live
I'm
like an
excuse
animal.
me while I open up this drawer of garbage and put my hand out in the ice and get it out for you.
No, you gotta have an ice scoop.
I don't know.
No, the scoops,
no.
that's for the poor.
We got one here.
I got to clean that. That thing's been drying out for 2 days.
Tom never uses it.
I think it went too far. After I blew the mildew out the tube, it's looking bad in there.
You know what I would need for my microwave is I go to defrost something and then it asks me how much does it weigh? And then
And you don't understand units of measurement.
No, well, I don't how much.
You're supposed to have a scale. Put the scale in it.
No.
Scale in the microwave.
That's what
you
I'm
set
saying.
the chicken inside it. Oh, it's 2 ounces. Boom.
Yeah, because
2 ounces of chicken.
Then I just guess, and I always guess 1.5 pounds, which is either way too much or too little.
And then you cook it.
Yeah, then it's either half cooked or
Then the
still
ends
raw.
get rubber. You get the rubber ends.
Yeah. I always get rubber ends, but I don't know how much a lump of chopped up cooked chicken
You're supposed
weighs.
to weigh it on a tiny scale if you want to get serious about your health. If you want to be Liver King, you got to Primos. Hello, Primos. You have to weigh your chicken.
I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
bringing
then
a
you're gonna
scale.
have rubber edges all the time.
Oh, there is a
Well, why
patent.
can't the damn microwave do it?
There is a patent for someone trying to get a microwave with a food weigher inside of it. You guys.
Dan Dennis, genius. Dan Dennis, genius.
Well, someone's already trying to.
They're trying to patent
We
it,
can
yeah.
beat him to it. We just gotta. We need to.
You're gonna push it through.
Where's Matthew?
faster.
We need Matthew. Matthew! Help!
I'd like to start asking him for. Look, can you help us get a patent on a microwave?
He's like, I don't know how to do that.
Microwave with a scale inside of it.
He's like, my wife told me not to work with you.
I got you an
I should've
email.
listened
I
to
gave
her.
you your own email. By the
Anyway.
way, I felt really uncomfortable making his email what you wanted me to make it. It's not good. I just wanted to do his name
I'm
at
sorry?
tomandale.com, but I did it, and I don't want to give it out, but it just...
Yeah.
It,
Well, it's for
it's demeaning.
Well, no, it's not demeaning. It's I thought about this. It's for if he moves on, we just use the same email for the next
Okay,
person.
all right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I got done with naming
Yeah.
the person's name
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
email
you can't do
because
that.
I'm like, this is the waste
Tracy
of
can
email.
wrote it.
You could always bring on my husband for Travis.
Hey, all right.
I still
Okay,
get-
Or was
good to
it Butler?
know.
No, it was Travis.
No, it was Travis. Yeah,
I still get emails about him re-upping his PlayStation subscription.
I do too.
I see the
Well,
email.
did you upgrade it or not?
Well, no, it's auto
Yeah.
on.
I'll tell you something.
I think we're paying for it.
I tell you,
Oh, yeah.
I will tell you something. I went in there one day to cancel his Photoshop subscription that I gifted him, and I can't figure out how to do it. So you win. You win, mother.
You win again.
You win.
Anyway, also I feel like no one, like people don't get new microwaves that often.
No.
Oh God!
You know-
Here goes my wife chiming in from the chat room. We have a kitchen scale. I buy bulk meat and then break it apart via weight and freeze. That's true. We do that. We do that.
Just eyeball.
Yeah,
I mean, she's gotten pretty good at it, where she can take meat and break it in half and then put it on the thing, and then it's like 1 pound. But yeah, we do.
Oh,
we buy bulk meat.
I got something, and I'll tell you guys only.
It's a secret. Everybody come in. Everybody come in.
Come in close.
As you get older, you start getting crazier and crazier. Right?
I'm already doing it.
No, I know everybody.
Did you
does.
know I have prostate cancer that's metastasized into my hips
yeah,
now,
yeah.
and now my bones are brittle and weak.
It's going to get in your
Yeah, yeah.
spinal fluid.
Yeah. I know.
To your brain.
It's already in there.
Yeah.
I already know. But
I told you this morning.
So Crystal is now obsessed with storing frozen food.
Oh, and your big deep freezer.
For Armageddon?
No,
for the
no,
end
no.
of the world? Oh.
No, just because she's got this weird thing where she doesn't want it to go to waste. So, like any
Is it good food?
Well, it's like, for instance, someone gave her
no.
Oh, you're already laughing.
a bucket of
A bucket.
mangoes. Right, and like,
Did she freeze them in the bucket?
No. Well, she.
Oh,
like,
that's why she was asking us if we wanted mangoes when we went over her
Yeah,
house.
trying to pawn her
She's trying to
frozen
give her
mangoes.
trash
I
to
don't want
us.
your
Yeah.
bucket of mangoes.
I don't even. By the way, I do not even mention this.
I do, not even my wife.
So I've learned my lesson with this because she gets mad, and I'm like, whatever.
What does she get mad?
She's just gonna. If I say
if you say nobody will eat these mangoes, throw them away. You have to put your foot down. I think she'd like it. I think she'd get horny.
No, I'm telling you, she doesn't like it.
Okay. You got real serious.
When it comes to
update,
things,
your wife does want the mangoes, Dan. She's
My
in
wife
the chat.
wants
She wants
the
no
mangoes?
one wants the mangoes.
In all caps, she put, "I want mangoes."
I'm not bringing you a bucket of mangoes.
So no.
What do I look like, Jimmy Buffett?
So she knew the bucket of mangoes were going to go bad fast. So what she does is
She froze it so she'd win the argument.
Well, the bucket of mangoes stays in her garage for a good 3 days, but they start getting right.
Yeah, you can start smelling it there.
And then she panics.
At least they're in there with the gasoline stick that burned your eyes.
And then she'll spend all day
staring at them.
Which, by the way, all day
Why she didn't shave her legs?
cutting the mangoes and then blanching them. Apparently,
blanching them. Like half boiling them?
Apparently that's what you have to do to you blanch the fungus off of it or whatever.
I don't want these fungus mangoes.
They've been fungus blanched.
And then she puts them in sealed bags, and then
this is a lot of work.
And she puts them in the freezer.
She could be shaving
the whole freezer is stacked to the roof of.
That's a lot of mango seasons.
But of all these different foods, and there's nothing to eat. I open it up, and then I see stacked mangoes and grains and bagels.
Yeah, it's like stuff for monkeys in there. It's like zoo food. It's a whole thing of zoo food.
She'll freeze bread. She'll buy BOGO bread.
No, old ladies freeze bread.
Yes, I know. That's
70s.
What I said.
You're in your 70s when you start freezing bread.
I refuse to eat
Don't
it.
freeze bread.
I refuse to. I'm like, there's no more bread. And she's like, there's a bunch of frozen bread. You just take one piece out.
My mom used to do that. My mom's like, leave it on the counter for 2 minutes and it'll be just as fresh. I'm like, it tastes like mangoes. It tastes like frozen mangoes.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, don't do it.
It's stale. No matter what, it doesn't become the same.
It never goes back to its original shape. And it's also, it loses 1 inch on every side. Like when you freeze bread, it becomes tiny bread.
And I understand if we are in poverty and we need to survive, it's the end of the world.
I need to tell you something. You're in poverty.
No, but I'm just saying, I understand if we need to save these mangoes as rations,
who'd she get the mangoes? What are the mangoes for? No, wait a minute. Normally, when I save things, like right now, I have pulled pork. Remember the pulled pork that I was going to give you, but then you said I don't need it. I'm like, all right, I'll keep it.
Well, that's valuable pulled pork.
So I froze it. But I'm usually freezing something that I'm going to use. Like I have some meatballs left over from Petty's that Maisie likes, so I froze them.
If it was all pulled pork,
does she
I'd be happy.
No. That's what I'm saying. Does she ever eat? What is her plan? Because she wasn't.
There's no plan. That's what drives me crazy.
So she's just freezing them to freeze them, not freezing them for herself.
No, of course not. I wouldn't be bitching about it if it's mango crazy. She's doing it for
These mangoes are driving me crazy.
She's doing it for no reason. You see what I'm saying?
No, but the mangoes are free. Doing it to win the argument.
This wasn't even mangoes like you got from Publix. These are mangoes from a tree
that her
mom got from a friend from her friend's mango tree.
Rotten.
And then it was like a bucket of free mangoes. So she's worried about wasting nothing.
It's like how you pay a monkey for tipping his hat. Here's a bucket of mangoes, monkey. Here you go.
It's bag after bag of blanched mangoes that we don't even eat mangoes. The kids don't even like them. I'm like, I don't even know why. No one eats them.
Here's what I want you to do.
The whole thing.
You know what would make me happy? And it might ruin your life, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I would like for you to go home today, drive home, before, you drive in, get out of the truck, slam the door, open the garage. I want you to walk into your garage. I want you to open the freezer. I want you to take every bag of mangoes out and punt them all into the trash and shut the door. And I think it'll make your wife horny. I think it'll make your wife horny. You're drawing a line in the sand.
No.
That's a lot of mango seasons. It ends today.
I don't even care if I'd do that if I needed to freeze some deer that I shot or something.
Ooh, yeah, now we're talking.
If I had
this fantasy, all of a sudden he's a hunter now.
I mean, I kind of went there too. What's the opposite of collecting mangoes and blanching them? Shooting a deer.
Shooting deer is good for the podcast business. That's what I found.
There's money in it.
But anyway, I don't even need the space. There's nothing I even put in there.
Leave it alone.
I know. I'm just telling you. It's
accidentally unplug it. Accidentally unplug it so you're right.
Oh, rotten mangoes.
Yeah, do that.
It was like if a crazy.
Then he ruins his freezer.
If a homeless man ran across the street,
go give him to the birds.
Pooping on the floor. I'll tell you about it.
Which is crazy.
I'm just telling you about a crazy thing I saw.
I think running across the street and just pooping is less crazy than spending your entire day blanching mangoes that you're not going to use.
Well, I mean, Daniel said it. I didn't say it. All right, let's take a break.